Roll it. Welcome to The Point.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Ricky B, and on the other side of the screen, once again, for the 24th time, is the man, the myth, the legend, Haystacks himself, the monster of a man. Yeah, pay attention. artsofwrestling.com. Leave it there. So, how's everything going with the man on the other side of the screen here?
Cruising right along, man. Cruising right along.
I hear you. Well, hey, look, let's jump right on into this, man. It's been a crazy week. Not the greatest week for sports news, obviously, with COVID still running rampant. As you can see, the thumbnail for this episode, Dawn of a New Era, question mark, maybe not. But something did come out. Obviously, everyone watching this episode here knows now what went down, WWE's horror show. But apparently, WWE potentially leaked one of their matches with Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. And I think this is funny as hell, and I knew we were going to cover something like this at some point. Because with WWE, you remember how it was with me and you growing up watching old school wrestling, right? You know, we didn't have social media. So when you had a pay-per-view coming up, or say like a Clash of Champions, which was like a mini pay-per-view on TBS, you know, you didn't have anything like spoiled for you, anything leaked for you,
Right.
unless you knew someone who actually knew one of the wrestlers or one of the performers, that it would kind of give you an inside edge, like a Bobby Fulton, for example.
Right.
But WWE has this habit of destroying any and all surprises before they ever happen. I can't tell you how many times they like with Rey Mysterio. I saw Rey Mysterio at Comic-Con in Raleigh right before his re-debut or his comeback in WWE. And I pushed and I pushed and I pushed and I pushed because I'd been reading the dirt sheets. Of course, he wouldn't come off anything, but he just kind of gave you, a little wink. You knew it was coming. And what does WWE do? They throw it out there and say, next Wednesday or next Friday, the return of Rey Mysterio. And it's like, what the hell, man? You know, at most, you're going to miss 5-10 minutes, you know what I mean, of ratings. The word's going to travel with social media, and people will pop over and check it out or DVR it. In the world of DVRs, people can record the entire episode without starting from the beginning. So you're still going to get the ratings. It makes no sense at all. So what does WWE do this past week? Social media overload is what it was. Ziggler was given the chance to pick the stipulation for his match, but instead of announcing it ahead of time, the show-off decided he would make the announcement on the show itself. Having the element of surprise is a sound strategy, but of course it looks like a Facebook ad for the show might have given it away. Now, obviously, we're recording this before the show, so we don't know how it's going to play out. But as pointed out by the Twitter user at 365Russell, there was an ad going around on Facebook stating the two would be in a TLC match. I mean, is this a case where the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing, or is this another Vince McMahon faux pas?
Man, I'm pretty sure that Vince is losing it. He's losing a step. And honestly, right now at this point, it looks like Impact is the one. And it's kind of shocking that it's Impact, but it looks like Impact is the one that's picking up the slack from the WWE screwing up here as of late.
True story. You want to elaborate on that one?
Well, let's see. At Slammiversary, so far we've already had Anderson and Gallows show up, and we had Heath Slater show up at Slammiversary,
Yeah.
which Heath Slater is by far, well, let me take that back. Heath Slater is probably the second most underutilized wrestler in WWE history, probably behind Zack Ryder.
I agree with that. I like Heath Slater.
The dude's entertaining as hell. That run that him and Rhino had was epic.
Yeah, it was.
Um,
I don't know if you noticed, he's been putting on some pounds too.
yeah. I mean, then we have rumor going around that Zack Ryder might be going to be the dude that challenges Cody,
right,
for the TNT title. So WWE, man, they're doing everything that they possibly can to screw themselves right now.
I just don't get it, man. I just don't understand. I know we live in a culture of, well, a cancel culture, but on the other end, it's like instant gratification. Everything's got to be instant. We don't live in a world where people understand, especially in the world of professional wrestling, that anticipation is what sells.
Right.
We deal with it all the time in promo entertainment. People cannot keep a secret. They cannot. You can be handed a 3-month window to build something slow and have this epic deal, and you'll get this wait to the last minute stuff, or you'll get this. Somebody will say something to somebody else, and then it's kind of like, well, it's here. Let's just go ahead and go with. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing with WWE, and like you said, I got to commend Impact and AEW as well. I think they're on the right.
In all honesty, I'm not complaining at all. I'm glad to see it, because right now is the time where places like AEW and Impact could really take sports entertainment to where it was in the late 90s, where we have WWE, WCW, and ECW. And that's going to force WWE to make a move to start making some entertainment. We've talked about this 5 or 6 damn different times, but it looks like right now, with WWE budget cuts after Vince lost his ass with XFL, that some of these shows are actually starting to kind of put some money down to try to be a player.
Yeah, and the thing with Gallows and Anderson, I've never been an over-the-top fan of these guys. I mean, I've heard in New Japan they were this, and New Japan they were that. I saw them in New Japan. They're great wrestlers, but as far as being entertaining, I don't think they're quite there. However, I think they're a hell of an asset for any. I mean, far be it from me, I'm not a pro wrestler. I mean, who the hell am I, right? But I mean, that's what we do here. We talk about it, and I think they're a hell of an asset. I remember when you remember the whole Festus thing back in the day. That was entertaining. I mean, it was cheesy, but it was entertaining.
I agree. Carl Anderson, I'm not impressed with as far as entertainer. As far as worker, the dude is solid. He's rock solid. With Gallows, we've seen the guy can be entertaining and he's a great worker.
Right.
I kind of feel like he's being held back by Anderson a little bit. But I mean, I understand the whole situation. But now what we have is, it's kind of interesting, because is AJ Styles now going to go back home to Impact?
Well, there will be a time more than likely where that may happen. But can I say this real quick? And I know this is going to be an off-kilter opinion here, but Anderson, he reminds me of Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. His in-ring style and his short burst of energy, that's who I'm reminded by. And I know I haven't heard that comparison before, but I see flashes of Arn Anderson. when I'm watching him. A younger.
He can't talk and he can't entertain. He can't cut a promo like Arn Anderson.
Very true. Very true. But WWE, was it TLC? By the time this episode airs, we'll know. But if I had to guess, Vince McMahon is notorious for things like this being leaked and him saying, I don't give a damn what anybody thinks, we're going to go with it anyway. So if I had to put my money on it right now, I would say the match between McIntyre and Ziggler will be TLC. And for every single person out there watching, you and I included, you and I both know that Ziggler's not winning that title. So congratulations, Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, there was a funny little exchange on Twitter earlier before we got on here. Somebody had posted a picture of Dolph Ziggler with the WWE Championship.
Right.
And The Rock had made a comment about, I'm not even mad at this. Great worker, great person, blah, blah, blah. Drew McIntyre commented back to him, it doesn't matter what you think.
Well, is that picture real, or is that just somebody playing?
It was real. I checked it on Twitter. It was a real exchange.
No, I'm talking about the picture.
Well, it was an old picture from when he first.
Okay.
But they were talking about once, the TLC match and everything, a fan had posted the picture of him with the title, and made a comment about how cool would this be. And then The Rock had commented, and then McIntyre freaking destroyed him with his own line.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So moving right down the line here, a little bit of weird news, sad news, mad news, whatever you want to call it. Ex-Cubs pitcher Sergio Miter is under investigation for rape and murder of a 2-year-old. So the details goes as follows. Miter, 39 years old, was arrested this past Monday for drug possession and is also being investigated for the rape and murder of a 2-year-old child. The victim was described as his stepdaughter by El Geraldo de Saltillo, was the daughter of a 19-year-old woman who Miter had been, 19-year-old, 39-year-old, 19-year-old, that might be part of the problem, had been living with for the past 3 months. Miter, who made his MLB debut with the Cubs in 2003, he also pitched for the Marlins, Yankees, and Brewers during his 8-year MLB career. He pitched for 2 teams in Mexico in 2019. Man, I know you don't put the cart before the horse. It's innocent until proven guilty. But obviously there's some truth to this if he's been charged with it. Rape and murder of a 2-year-old child.
Shooting.
Why have we not seen this on mainstream media?
Doesn't fit the narrative. You know that.
This right here should be front and center, period. This is what people need to be protesting. So I'll leave that there. But
It doesn't matter though, because what was the lady's name again?
doesn't say. Doesn't say.
Doesn't say.
No, the notes I have here is just reported by just a newspaper. So that's all we got on that. I wish I had more details on it, and I'm sure more details will come out. And if they do, we will report it here. But we'll follow this trial closely because I'm not sure how everyone else watching feels about this. But I would hope and pray to God that everyone feels about the same way. I'd be interested to know how a 39-year-old ends up with a 19-year-old who has a 2-year-old child. But as I understand it, it was his stepdaughter, not his actual daughter. So,
is this
anyway,
was this in the States or was this?
Don't have that information right here on hand, but I'm assuming it was in the. It was probably not in this country, or if it was, it was probably close to the border in a Hispanic town. given the newspaper, the article that the newspaper was in being of a Spanish title. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll stay on top of it and see how it works out. Now, the next big story, this is a really big story because when I heard this, you heard all about Mahomes' contract, right? This massive 10-year extension that was, widely reported on because of the monetary value, even if it wasn't all guaranteed. Well, to me, that kind of pales in comparison to this next story I'm going to talk about, because this is a huge deal for anyone playing this particular position. So let me get right into it. Chris Jones, who also plays for the Chiefs, agreed on a 4-year, are you ready for this? 4-year, $85 million contract. Now, the deal includes $60 million in total guarantees once he signed the dotted line. In the end, Patrick Mahomes' massive 10-year extension, which wound up providing the Chiefs a team-friendly solution, helped Kansas City keep Jones on a mega multi-year deal. Now, the structure of Mahomes' deal kept the salary cap for this coming year in impact flat for the next 2 years, allowing Kansas City the flexibility. Now, so the first year, if you don't remember, we talked about it, we covered it. Mahomes is only going to make a certain amount. The second year, he'll make considerably, I think it was 26.5 million the second year. So the way they structured that deal allows for them to pay for this kind of thing. So Chris Jones is now a very, very, very wealthy individual, if he wasn't already.
Right. That's some crazy damn money, man. They're blowing that damn Super Bowl bonus.
What's even weirder, or not weirder, but crazier, is Kansas City is keeping their team. And they were pretty damn good this past season. So we'll see how that plays out coming up in the next season, if we have a next season. If we watch the next season.
I'm telling you right now, sports for me, they're dead. I'm going to be on here talking about the news, but I can't even enjoy Cleveland Browns football now. I can't even enjoy Oklahoma football now because my quarterback of the Browns and my coach for Oklahoma both turned into a bunch of damn panty waist freaking whiny ass crybaby bitches. So
seems to be a little bit of that in the air.
Trade Baker and fire Lincoln Riley. That's how mad I am.
Hey, I don't blame you. I don't blame you a bit. So the one person who has sort of been in the news quite a bit here lately, I don't know if you noticed, we talked about last week how WWE Backstage got canceled. Okay. Now, there's only one person that was on WWE Backstage that anyone really ever gave a shit about, and it's kind of interesting to me that this show, you have some. I'm talking about CM Punk, obviously. When you have a guy like CM Punk, who's such a cult favorite, if you will, fan favorite of professional wrestling fans. When you have him pop back up onto the big screen, you kind of hope that show hangs around for a while. And it almost seems a waste to me to see him pop back up on the big screen on WWE Backstage on Fox as a Fox employee, not a WWE employee, but nonetheless the same realm. And now the show's been canceled. So it's kind of like imagine Scott Hall miraculously becoming completely healthy and then re-debuting back in the day, right? And he comes up on, say, Thunder, and a week later it's canceled. I mean, it seems to me you waste that debut, but CM Punk, since this inception of WWE Backstage and even its cancellation, has been all in the news. It's like you can kind of feel it something's coming. Something's coming. In one of the most recent interviews with CM Punk, he names 3 stars that he would return for if he was to work a program with those. And he tweeted in response to someone else, in response to the way, if you remember back when WrestleMania was in it was supposed to be in Tampa Bay, and then they held it at the training facility because of COVID and all that shit, which was kind of a cluster F. But he had tweeted back then, well, that's one way to make sure Roman finally gets not booed and nobody chants for me in typical Punk fashion. But in reference to how this past WrestleMania was held at the training facility, we all know it went down. It was kind of shitty. It was a good moment for Drew McIntyre, but also a shitty moment. But Punk goes on to say, if the money was right, I think a guy like Daniel Bryan, I would listen to your idea. If you said John Cena or Rey Mysterio, I'd listen to your idea as well. So paraphrasing, of course. But those are your 3 that he says he would return for: Daniel Bryan, John Cena, Rey Mysterio. So are you shocked by that?
Yeah and no. I mean, we've known forever, even since his pipe bomb, that he has always had that respect for Daniel Bryan. That was one of the names that he dropped that WWE was kind of screwing over. Cena, yeah, that kind of surprises me. I don't know if that's just a grudge match to try to make Cena look bad, because last I heard, those 2 couldn't stand each other.
It makes you wonder. But I mean, out of all the talent, I understand Daniel Bryan. I understand that, or Bryan Danielson. I understand that completely. I can kind of understand Rey Mysterio too, because it's kind of similar styles and this, that, and the other. But again, there's so many other people, so many young stars out there. That kind of makes me feel a little bit like CM Punk's a little out of touch, man. I mean,
yeah, it's definitely interesting. I mean, we've already seen Punk Cena.
Yeah,
I
don't want to see it.
No, not at all. Myself, if I was to put together a list, I would love to see CM Punk and Cody, CM Punk and Omega. See those guys have a 30, 45-minute match. An actual wrestling match. I know. Crazy concept.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if there's many wrestlers left that could go 30 minutes.
Right, exactly. That I think Cody and CM Punk, and I think that Kenny Omega and CM Punk, they could probably do a 1-hour Iron Man match, and it would probably be an instant damn classic.
Yeah. Good old Broadway match. But I think I may have mentioned this on last week's episode, but I would love to see CM Punk and Darby Allin.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know what it is about it. I know the 2 grungy street style kind of that look. I don't know that Darby has the promo ability to match up with him. But man, CM Punk's been out the game a while. Of course, we don't know what he does in his off time. We don't know how he trains, and I'm sure. I think it's safe to say we're going to see CM Punk back on national TV in a squared circle again before it's over with, for the right price. It's obvious. We covered it last week. The astronomical amount of money that he's apparently asking for. Never did get a figure, but of course, considering the source being Conan. But man, that's a lot of potential out there.
Punk going back home and going back to ROH. And there's another match that I would really like to see. I would love to see CM Punk and Jay Lethal.
Yeah. That would change the landscape dramatically.
CM Punk Jay Lethal or CM Punk and Marty Skrull.
Yeah, man. That's another one. Can you imagine, though, CM Punk showing up at Ring of Honor? Can you imagine the people that would flock to see that? That's a game changer. The problem is AEW and Tony Khan, the billionaire owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars and All Elite Wrestling, wasn't willing to throw the money at CM Punk that he was asking for, and he's throwing money out of both pant legs. So we'll see. Nothing. Never say never.
I think if CM Punk was guaranteed actual wrestling like ROH does instead of this theatrical scripted horse shit, and ROH is scripted, don't get me wrong. We all know that wrestling as a whole is scripted. But you watch ROH and you get 52 minutes of wrestling and 8 minutes of bullshit.
True.
You watch WWE, you get 2 hours and 45 minutes of bullshit, 15 minutes of wrestling.
Absolutely. How many times do you turn on Monday Night Raw and you get 20 minutes, 25 minutes into the show and they're still doing skits and commercials and behind the scenes and coming up laters and the commentators, because you always got to show the commentators so everybody can see how they're dressed and hear they talk about shit that's irrelevant. So yeah, man, I'm going to definitely keep, obviously, like everybody else in the pro wrestling community, definitely going to keep our fingers on the pulse of CM Punk, because I don't see him going anywhere else personally than WWE because of the exposure he'll get, because of the amount of fans. Once I say this, he's not coming back anywhere until this shit's over. When COVID-19 is quote unquote over and done, I think he'd be a damn fool to even attempt to come back. But when he does, I believe it'll be them, just because of the fan base, the marketing, just the money in general, the longevity. And don't forget, I know if I had to guess, CM Punk probably doesn't give a shit about the Hall of Fame. But the Hall of Fame's it's another issue. There's so much other shit, documentaries. And don't forget about the network, man. Yeah, I'm sure he'll come back. He'll have his own show, whatever the hell he wants,
It's definitely possible, but ROH has all of that stuff as well.
True story.
They have their own network and the whole nine.
Right. It just comes down to that right there.
I don't know if everything that was said and done between him and Triple H could be repaired enough for him to come back to WWE. Vince McMahon is one beast. Vince McMahon is a forgiving guy. We've seen that with the whole Bret Hart situation. But Triple H just kind of comes off to me as a guy like me that holds a grudge forever and just would be a complete douchebag.
I can definitely see it. I can definitely see it, because WWE is one of the things, man, where first and foremost, Triple H isn't the top guy, not yet. And if it makes money and it's what's best for business, I see it happening. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a quick break. Hit the potty. That's right, I said potty, and all that good jazz. Come right back on the flip side. Get back into we've got several more topics to get into. Some really good shit. Yeah, what my buddy says, was it Gary Gable? Such good shit. We got such good shit coming up on the flip side for you. So, Haystacks and everybody out there in the Point Nation, we'll catch you on the flip here in just a sec.
Join us next week for another action-packed episode of The Point.
All right, here we are, back from the break yet again. On the other side of that flip we were talking about just a couple of seconds ago. Now, I'm going to jump right back into this, because I saw a really good damn story that, of course, you're not going to see on mainstream media because, hell, the way the world is right now. But for those of you who don't know, Shaquille O'Neal has been a police officer for, long as I can remember. He's worked as a reserve officer for about every town that he's ever played for, he's been a reserve officer for. But a cool story came out this past week, and it's a big deal because of who it is, but it's also a big deal because of the situation in the world we live in. Gainesville, Florida, report that Shaquille O'Neal stopped to help a stranded motorist in Florida. The woman whose car was left stranded on the Florida interstate, her tire blew out. She got a little bit of unexpected help from former NBA star Shaquille O'Neal. The sheriff, of course, reporting this, said O'Neal, who lives in the Orlando area, was traveling on Interstate 75 near Gainesville on this past Monday when he saw the woman pulled on the side of the road. And of course, the sheriff's office said in a Facebook post he stayed with the woman until deputies arrived on the scene. In the video, they actually posted the video from the dash cam to Facebook, and it was pretty damn cool, man. Because here's Shaquille O'Neal, this African American man, larger than life, millionaire upon millionaire. He's out on the side of the road, fist bumping these deputies, stopping to help a woman with a blown out tire. Now, if this isn't an example of what the rest of this country should be doing and paying attention to and how to live their life, how many millionaires do you know would have, in this day and time, would have drove by and seen a woman with a blown tire? He didn't know who was in the car. He didn't know who it was. You see a motorist on the side of the road with a blown tire, you pull over, get out, and stay. Not only get out to try to help, but stay until the deputies get there. And then the deputies get out, and you're fist bumping them and patting them on the back, telling them good job, and you're proud of them. And man, this is the kind of stuff that needs to go viral. Now, I understand why it doesn't.
It's political bullshit, man. Plain and simple. Nobody wants to. Hell, I'll just freaking say it. The good book, we don't go do politics and religion here, but I mean, if you don't like it, piss off. The good book tells you that in the end of days, good will be evil and evil will be good. And that's where we're at, folks. Anything that is absolutely evil, and in your mind and in your conscience that it's stupid and it's wrong, but yet you're in fear of your safety or you're in fear of somebody outing your career if you don't put your blinders on and, Hercules, this is fantastic.
Yep.
You're exuberating this whole situation. And this is a prime example. You'll see on the news, oh my God, Donald Trump and Ivanka Trump took a picture with a can of Goya beans. The media for 3 days now, Kumo's little brother's been on the damn news having a effing coronary over a picture. But Shaquille O'Neal helping a little old lady motorist that's stranded and shaking hands with the police, you don't even see that on ESPN, which is their job is to cover happenings in sports. If you don't see that that's what's happening right now, you're part of the problem.
Absolutely. So shout out to Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq, you the man. Always have been, are now, and always will be. Superman. We love him.
Can you imagine this, though? Just imagine, if you will, for 30 seconds. You're a criminal. You're running from the police. There's a high-speed chase. You crash your car. You jump out. You take off running. Next thing you know, you turn around. There's a 7'2", 380-pound man giving chase. And he's taking one step to your 10 and gaining ground fast.
Better yet, imagine being a smart-ass teenager, just burned out of a parking lot and cut a donut. And next thing you know, the blue lights come on, and you're talking to your buddy. Yeah, watch this, And the guy walks up, and you look over, and you're looking at his zipper. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yeah, I bet there'll be some compliance at that point. But So
our first, we're going to call this the Bravo of the night, because I think we're going to have two of them tonight. I'm pretty sure we're going to have two of them, and both come from the NBA. So first Bravo of the night, Shaquille O'Neal.
We may have another one, yes. But speaking of the NBA, the big story this week is finally going down. The NBA bubble season closer is what we're going to call it. I'm going to run down the details real quick so everyone watching knows exactly what's going on, because it's all been laid out now. Each team will play 8 seeding games to determine the playoff matchups and to initiate a potential play-in series for the number 8 seed in each conference. The number 9 seed finishes within 4 games of the number 8 seed. There will be a play-in tournament in which the number 9 seed would need to beat the 8 seed twice to earn the playoff berth, while the number 8 seed would need to get 1 win from the 2 potential games. Given the uneven number of games played, the NBA will use win percentage as an initial tiebreaker. Now, if you understood any of that horse shit, congratulations. But here are the standings as of right now. So when they restart, this is where it'll stand. In the Eastern Conference, you will have at number 1, the Milwaukee Bucks. Number 2, the Toronto Raptors. 3, the Celtics. 4, the Miami Heat. 5, the Pacers. At 6, you have the Philadelphia 76ers. Number 7, the Nets. 8, the Orlando Magic. And rounding out the top 9 in the Eastern Conference will be the Washington Wizards. Now, in the other side of things, the Western Conference, you have
the LA Lakers.
Say that again?
On the West, numbers 1 through 5 is going to be the LA Lakers.
Close. On the West, you got the Lakers at number 1, the Clippers at number 2, Denver at number 3, Utah 4, Oklahoma 5, Houston 6, Dallas 7, Memphis 8, 9, and it goes on. And I'm not going to read every bit of this, but you get the gist. They got it all laid out. To start off, the Wizards will be 5.5 games back of the Magic, giving Washington a chance to make up the 1.5 game difference and force a play-in for the East number 8 seed. A play-in's likely in the West, with the Grizzlies holding a 3.5 game lead over multiple contenders. So it's on. They've got a system in place. We'll see what happens. That is, of course, if they can wrap their head around the James Harden mask ordeal. And we'll see what happens.
By the way, Houston.
Yeah, for real. I'll say this, though. You and I both know, no matter who wins this championship and how they finish this season, I don't care who it is. They're going to get straight up clowned on, because this championship is not – it's just not going to be what it was meant to be. We've talked about it numerous times. Let it go, man.
Yeah, with me, as long as anybody except the Lakers win, I'm good with it.
Yeah, same here. Same here. As long as it ain't the Lakers, I'm happy. So we'll see how the hell that goes.
Choice, I would have to go with Houston just because of James Harden at this present moment.
Well, he ain't exactly stepping up to the plate and saying one way or the other. He's this whole thing, he came out with a quote that said, "I wore it because it covered my face." So,
in all honesty, I think that's his politically correct answer.
We'll see. It would make more sense, and I would hope that he would stand by his convictions a little stronger than that, but we'll see.
Agreed.
We'll see how that plays out. Now, in other news, the big rumor swirling around the water cooler here lately is that the possibility is out there. The rumor has been started or spread that Billy Corgan is shutting down the NWA. Now, take this with a grain of salt, much like the comment last week with CM Punk and AEW negotiations price-wise. This comment came from Raven, which, if you don't know Raven, former ECW legend, or is an ECW legend, much like Jeff Hardy was back in the day. They were two peas in a pod there for a while. That's where the comment come from, man. And Raven, he does have a little bit of a history of I'm not going to call the man an asshole, but a little bit of history is stirring the pot. But he made a fleeting comment, all hell broke loose, and Corgan had to respond. And when he did, the response was simply put, there was no way, this is Corgan's words, there's no way the NWA is being shut down. Now, is this story over, or is he hiding the leaked truth?
I'm a Raven fan, man. I've liked Raven from the time that he was in ECW all the way through when they had the flock angle in WCW. But I think Ravens had a few too many shots to the head. Do I doubt that the NWA is floundering right now? Absolutely not. Because they are YouTube based. They don't have a big TV contract. They don't have all that money coming in. Yeah, they're getting ad money from YouTube, but it's nowhere near a USA deal, a Fox deal, a TNT deal, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The only way that I see Billy Corgan putting these rumors to bed is get away from this YouTube online deal and sign a TV deal, and then be like, "Man, there you go. We're not going anywhere."
Well, from what I understand, they had some regional TV deals, but nothing national or nationwide. So, we talked about this on the phone the other day when this broke, and you know what my opinion is, but we'll talk about it here so everyone knows. Gonna put it out there is with the whole COVID-19 and the coronavirus thing. AEW, someone like AEW or another organization like WWE, they can withstand that financial ass kicking because they have the money and the owners to kind of keep it going. Now, WWE is a publicly traded company, so that's you got that whole dynamic with them. But then with AEW, you got Tony Khan, who's a billionaire, Jacksonville Jaguars owner, and we talked about it 100,000 times. He's got the money to take the hit. So being in the red for a while to get up and running, to be successful or to stay successful, to start finally seeing that profit. You've heard it said before, it takes money to make money. Now, Billy Corgan's, he got a lot of money. Oh, hell yeah, he does. But does he have Tony Khan money? Absolutely not. So how long can Billy Corgan's pocket withstand being in the red? And I think there may be some truth to this. I mean, you know how it is. You speak to someone, you vent to someone, and it sounds to me like maybe I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm speculating here, playing devil's advocate. But it sounds to me like maybe he was venting to someone his frustrations with being in the red, and maybe Raven was either there, heard it, or picked up on it from a third party. And in this day and time, with all the podcasts and the interviews and everybody, including us, clamoring for different stuff to put out there and report on, and to be the first to break, these guys get caught up in questions that kind of put on the spot.
Right.
And that the mouth opens up and things come out. So I think there's a little truth to this, but is it crucial? Do I think Billy Corgan wants to keep NWA open? Absolutely. Will he? Will he be able to? We'll see.
Yeah, I agree. If anything, right now, you would think that the NWA would benefit the most from this whole COVID situation because they are online based. Fans that can't go can always jump on their channel and watch their shows. To where with WWE, you still get the same crap every single week. Yeah, you can go and watch it on the network, but you can't watch last week's Raw for another 4 to 6 weeks until it's added to the network.
Right.
So
well, it'll be interesting to see. Well, only time will tell if Raven was, if Ravens there was any truth to what he was saying. Now, there's another story that broke just a few days ago. And of course, we're recording this a little bit before Tuesday, obviously. But Dak Prescott and the ongoing saga with the Dallas Cowboys. We've been covering this, ad nauseum since it since the point first started 24 episodes ago. But apparently, Dak and the Cowboys were unable to agree on a long-term deal before the deadline, so he will play under the franchise tag. Now, I'm gonna give some deets here and ask you your opinion, and then give you mine because I'll be completely honest with you. I'm so over this shit. It's not even funny. The Dallas Cowboys and quarterback Dak Prescott, they weren't able to agree on a long-term contract before last Wednesday's 3 p.m. deadline. So now Dak will be playing under the one-year franchise tag for just over $31 million this season. Poor fella. The Cowboys reportedly had a 5-year offer on the table. 5 years. Okay? For more than $100 million. With playoff record of 1-2 and not even making it there last year, it may be time to move on from the QB that's asking for more than he produces.
Yeah. At this point, really, Jerry Jones has two options. Number one, you can trade him for a draft pick or something. Or you can go through this season and then let him look like a dumbass like Cam Newton and sign a contract for $20 million less than what he was making with his previous team. Because that's what's going to happen. These teams are going to look at Dak Prescott. They're actually going to see that he's not as great as advertised. Plus, he's difficult to work with. And they're not going to want anything to do with him. In all honesty, he would have been better off not even franchise tagging him and threw the damn checkbook at Tom Brady to give him one season.
Oh, can you imagine Tom Brady and the Dallas Cowboys? Holy shit. The media coverage. Oh.
Could you imagine Tom Brady and Ezekiel Elliott?
Oh.
And Des Bryant?
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, where the hell is he?
Who?
Des Bryant. Yeah, that's a travesty. If there's ever been a travesty in professional football, that is it. He needs to be some damn where. But anyway, getting back to Dak Prescott, man, listen. When I said he was reportedly offered 5 years, $100 million, the key word in this whole thing is guaranteed. Okay? When you heard Patrick Mahomes and you heard the $500 million, right? This $500 million for 10-year extension. He's not guaranteed $500 million. Right? We went through that in detail last week. Right here, right now, I'm telling you, Dak was guaranteed more than $100 million. That means when the Lions signed $100 million in his bank account, man, for 5 years, this is a guy. Now, listen, he's a good quarterback. Okay? He's a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. He sure as hell ain't an elite quarterback, and I don't give a damn what uniform you put on somebody. A turd is still a turd. He did not produce. You're 1-2, Haystacks. 1-2 in the playoffs. You've won one playoff game. And it wasn't impressive because I remember it well. Now, you didn't even make the playoffs last year. And you have the unmitigated gall to not accept $100 million for 5 years? Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, putting this in perspective, and by the way, still screw Baker Mayfield, but to put this in perspective, the Cleveland Browns went 1-31. Baker Mayfield stepped on the field, and they went 7-9. Mind you, with nobody. That's impressive.
Not bad. Not bad.
That's impressive. From going 1-31 to 7-9 compared to not making the damn playoffs, and you're supposed to be one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the country or in the nation.
With the weapons that Dak Prescott is surrounded with the coaching staff that he's surrounded with, there is no excuse, man. And look, we can't sit here and put this all on Dak Prescott. Okay, people have to play around him, but unfortunately, the way of the world that we live in is just like one cop means all cops are bad, just like one criminal means everybody's bad. One person of this race or this religion or whatever, blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on and on. This is how the world works. And when you're being paid hundreds of millions of dollars to play a sport, your ass is under the microscope whether you like it or not. And I just don't understand. I understand where he's coming from, but it seems to me that a lot of these athletes, they get in the door, and don't get me wrong, they busted their ass to get there. Oh, yeah, hell yeah. I mean, the percentage of football players that actually make it to the NFL, and then the percentage of football players that actually make it while they're in the NFL is stupid slim, man. It's like a really small percentage. But you come in the door, a lot of these high-profile football players in the NFL, they come in the door, they make some money, they got some money in the bank as it is. And it seems like once they get to that point, they forget everything. And I know a lot of this comes from agents. No, man, you need to hold off. We're going to get more. We're going to get more. And like you said earlier, I think you said it best. You keep going with the get more, and your ass is going to end up playing for the Patriots for about $4 million.
Right. In all honesty, man, there needs to be some caps put on, and this whole endorsement thing, this whole endorsement thing needs to quit, in my opinion. And by the way, I think that currently we have the man in office that could get that job done. If you're able to make $100, $200, $300, $400, $500 million throwing a damn football, you shouldn't be making a damn dime off of endorsements and stuff like that, in my opinion. What they need to do in this country is take these places like Nike and all this crap. I mean, who was it? I think it was stupid ass that they just signed to Nike, that like $100 million deal.
Yeah.
Now, follow me on this one. I know we're going over time, and I apologize, but you take $100 million, $100 million, and you break that down to 1,000 people. That's
a lot of damn.
I can't do that math in my damn head.
It's a lot of damn money.
But you have a company like Nike endorse American workers, endorse people to entice them to go to work, and tell them, okay, we're going to give you an additional $10,000 a year bonus to go to work. The catch is you have to physically be at work, not stay with the same company, but you physically have to be at work for 5 years or you lose this endorsement.
Right.
If we would do this with Nike, Under Armour, Reebok, all these NASCAR sponsorships, if all these companies would reinvest that money into the American workers, I mean, you just think a place like Walmart. Walmart has worldwide, I think they said somewhere in the neighborhood of like 400 million employees.
Hey,
If you
bold statement.
if you endorse an employee and they wear a little lapel that says Under Armour, that's 400 million people worldwide that now see your name on their lapel, and you're benefiting a worker that's making $11 a freaking hour.
In a perfect world, yeah, but you talk about the grand scale of things. People don't live in the real world anymore. People live right here with us on social media. You know what I mean? That's where the big monies from these endorsements are coming from, because they know that it doesn't make a damn of what the people stand for, right or wrong, or true or false. All they care about is the fact that their face is out there and there's a following, and with the click of
That
a
goes
button.
That goes back to the whole what's good is evil and what's evil is good situation.
Right. What's up is down and what's down is up. And with the click of a button, a simple video from a handheld phone can be put out there and had millions of people see it within 24-hour period. And that's what it's all about. It's not about the American worker. It's about the American dollar. So, and that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So endorsements will, oh my God. I remember when I was a kid and somebody would get a shoe deal, right? Like, we know Jordan, and all that, but you get one of these, like Jerry Stackhouse would get a shoe deal, and you'd hear the amount, and you're like, that's pretty good, But the main lump sum of their income was from playing the sport. But now the pendulum has swung more towards the endorsement than what the hell they're actually doing, and you see that in their play on the field, on the court, and it's starting to take its toll. But I think there will come a time where things pull back a little bit. It always happens. The pendulum swings. It can't swing but so far, and it'll come back. Just like with the NCAA and the social influencing and allowing endorsements for that thing. I think once that gets going and the first checks come rolling in, there'll be abuses of power, and the pendulum will come swinging right back, and things have a way of coming back to center. At least, God, I hope so.
Yeah.
So we will see. But hey, another damn great episode, episode 24. And I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, is it your week or my week?
I'm pretty sure that you're right.
It's your week?
I believe so.
Ooh. Well, I do believe that's a wrap. Episode 24 in the books. It's late. We got a late start. But I'm looking forward to this one. I don't know what's coming, but I'm sure it'll be great as always. But real quick, everyone out there in the Point Nation, again, I want to take this quick moment to thank everyone 24 weeks in, for the folks that are watching, for the folks that are sharing, the folks that are liking, checking out the Twitter account, checking out the Facebook page. We cannot be any more grateful. We are this far away from hitting the mark, and I won't tell you what that mark is until we hit it, but we are this far away from the goal we have set. And man, it's only been a very short amount of time too. So we're coming up on 6 months here soon. We're going to have our first little quasi anniversary, and I could not be prouder. Enjoying the shit out of this. Again, go over, check out theartsofwrestling.com, Support them guys. They bust their ass, put out a great product, and you may or may not see these two gentlemen here. And I use that term loosely. So, Haystacks, I'm going to leave you to it. The floor is yours. Let them know what's up. Until next time, appreciate you, brother. Love you guys, and I'm out.
Ladies and gentlemen, another week has passed. And again, we're still here giving you all the news. One thing that I wanted to cover that we didn't get a chance to in the show, big shout out to Michael McDowell in NASCAR for his performance at the Bristol All-Star race. If anybody doesn't know what happened, check it out. Pretty awesome moment. Even though the man's character was put into question, we'll follow up on that at a later point in time. The point this week is, as we said, in a world where good is viewed as evil and evil is viewed as good, no matter what, we're still going to bring you the good, even though people want to come off as evil. Whether it be in the sports world, our professional lives, personal lives, or the promo world even, as we've seen. We'll still keep bringing you the good and the evil. They can just kiss our ass. Until next time.
Thank you for watching The Point.
Goodbye, cruel world.